ever watched an alien invasion movie everyone forgot existed, only to realize it was better than half the blockbusters everyone remembers? The 1980s were packed with E.T. and Close Encounters mania, but hidden beneath the Spielberg worship were invasion films that nobody saw, nobody talked about, and somehow deserve way more love than they got. These weren't just overlooked, they were buried. Today, we're counting down 10 underrated alien invasion movies from the 80s. You probably missed the films that got overshadowed by bigger releases, dismissed as B-movies, and vanished despite being genuinely entertaining or brilliantly weird. Let's dive in. Stranded, 1987. Ione Skye starred in obscure alien film before Say Anything made her famous. Aliens crash in remote area and face hostile humans in post-apocalyptic setting. The budget was tiny. The release was almost non-existent. Almost nobody saw it then or now. It's the most obscure film on this list and barely qualifies as invasion movie. The plot involves survivors of some unspecified catastrophe encountering crashed aliens. The tone is bleak, and the production values show the budget limitations. Skye's early performance is the most interesting element. The film disappeared immediately upon release with virtually no theatrical distribution and minimal home video presence. Stranded is forgotten even by people who study 80s sci-fi. It's hard to find anywhere legally. The film exists more as trivia answer about Ione Skye's pre-fame work than as actual viewing experience, for completists only. It represents the bottom tier of 80s alien films. Sincere effort with no resources and no audience. Most people reading this have never heard of it. That's justified because it's genuinely obscure and not particularly good. But it exists, it's from the 80s, and aliens are in it technically. That's enough to include it as proof that not every forgotten film deserves rediscovery. The Galaxy Invader, 1985. Don Dohler made ultra-low-budget science fiction in Maryland with local actors and passion-exceeding resources. An alien crashes in rural area. Rednecks decide to hunt it instead of help. Shot on video for under $100,000. The Galaxy Invader looks terrible, sounds worse, and has charm that expensive films can't replicate. The alien costume is clearly someone in silver suit with mask. The acting ranges from amateur to enthusiastic amateur. The violence is clumsy and unconvincing, but Dohler's sincere regional filmmaking has dedicated following among fans who appreciate genuine effort over slick emptiness. Mystery Science Theater 3000 featured it, introducing the film to wider audience as bad movie entertainment. The Galaxy Invader represents regional horror and sci-fi tradition where passionate filmmakers made movies anyway, despite having no money or access to professional resources. It's bad by conventional standards, but sincere in ways studio films rarely achieve. The film is so bad it's entertaining for audiences who appreciate DIY filmmaking spirit. Dohler made multiple films this way, building regional following in Maryland. The Galaxy Invader became his most famous work through MST3K exposure. It's forgotten outside cult movie circles, but represents important tradition of making movies with nothing but determination. Not good, but genuinely entertaining for right audience with right expectations.
You say these creatures were brought back from the Churchill?
Yes, but not this one. She's a victim of the creatures.
Lifeforce, 1985. Tobe Hooper's space vampire epic was Cannon Films at peak excess. $25 million budget. Mathilda May nude for most of runtime. Space vampires draining life force, turning victims into zombies. London apocalypse. Patrick Stewart kissing another man while possessed. Everything about Lifeforce was designed to be too much. Astronauts discover derelict ship in Halley's Comet. They bring back 3 humanoid aliens in suspended animation. The aliens wake up and start draining life energy through sexual contact. Victims become energy vampires, spreading plague through London. The film escalates from body horror to zombie apocalypse with operatic scope Hooper never achieved before or after. The box office was catastrophic. Critics hated it. Audiences stayed away. Too weird, too sexual, too expensive for returns it generated. Canon Films bled money on Hooper's most ambitious vision, but cult appreciation has grown over decades for film that refused to be anything less than excessive spectacle. Lifeforce went too far in every direction simultaneously. The nudity, the violence, the apocalyptic scope, the psychedelic imagery. It's beautiful disaster that fails commercially, but succeeds as fascinating artifact of 80s excess. Hooper made something genuinely unique that couldn't succeed, but refuses to be forgotten. Henry Mancini's score is incredible. The practical effects are ambitious. It's messy masterpiece disguised as exploitation trash. Earthstar Voyager, 1988. Disney made two-part television movie designed as pilot. For series that never happened. Generation ship full of teenagers travels to colonize New World. The young crew faces challenges maintaining the ship and surviving deep space. The production values were ambitious for TV movie. The concept had genuine potential for ongoing series. The casting featured future stars in early roles. The ship design was impressive for television budget. The storytelling balanced coming-of-age drama with space exploration. Disney clearly hoped to launch ongoing sci-fi franchise appealing to younger audiences, but the ratings weren't strong enough to justify series pickup. Earthstar Voyager aired once, then disappeared. No series. Minimal home video release. The film vanished from Disney's catalog for years. Nostalgia exists among people who caught it on broadcast, but most Disney fans don't know it exists. It influenced later teen-focused space shows, but gets no credit. The film deserves DVD or streaming release as lost Disney sci-fi treasure. It's not masterpiece, but it's genuinely entertaining space adventure with heart. The generation ship concept was ahead of its time for television. Earthstar Voyager represents road not taken. What Disney's sci-fi future could have looked like if they'd committed to space opera television in the 80s instead of waiting decades to do it with Star Wars. They Live, 1988. John Carpenter made anti-consumerism masterpiece disguised as alien invasion action film. Rowdy Roddy Piper finds sunglasses that reveal aliens have infiltrated society and control humanity through subliminal messages in advertising. Obey, consume, marry, and reproduce. The glasses show the truth. We're occupied and don't know it. The 6-minute alley fight between Piper and Keith David became legendary for being absurdly long fight over putting on sunglasses. I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum became iconic despite being ad-libbed. The premise is perfect political satire, aliens controlling through media and capitalism instead of military force. Box office was modest. Critics dismissed it as typical Carpenter action, but They Live aged into prophetic commentary about media manipulation and consumerism as control mechanism. Reagan-era capitalism critique became more relevant with every decade. The sunglasses revealing hidden messages is metaphor for seeing through propaganda and advertising lies. They Live is Carpenter's most politically radical film, disguised as B-movie entertainment. The aliens aren't invading, they already won and were complicit in our own occupation. It's overlooked in Carpenter's filmography behind Halloween and The Thing, but it's possibly his most important film thematically. The invasion already happened. We just don't see it without the glasses. The Last Starfighter, 1984. A teenager playing arcade game discovers it's actually recruiting test for real space combat. Aliens need Starfighter to defend Frontier from invasion. Alex gets recruited off Earth to fight in actual interstellar war. It's wish fulfillment fantasy using early CGI for space battles that looked revolutionary in 1984. Robert Preston's final role before death was recruiting alien explaining the truth to confused teenager. Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. The film balanced small-town Earth story with space opera scope effectively. Universal expected blockbuster. They got modest returns and disappointment. The CGI space battles were cutting edge for 1984, but aged poorly compared to Star Wars practical effects. The video game premise was ahead of its time. Decades before Ender's Game made it mainstream. The Last Starfighter became cable TV staple through endless broadcasts, but never got theatrical respect. The film deserves modern remake using current technology. The concept is timeless. Ordinary person discovers they're special and gets recruited for extraordinary destiny. Ender's Game borrowed heavily from it. Every Chosen One video game story owes it debt. The Last Starfighter is overlooked as dated CGI curiosity, when it's actually foundational text for gamers as hero's narrative. Reboot has been stuck in development hell for years. Original deserves more respect as influential despite commercial failure. Night of the Creeps, 1986. Fred Decker's directorial debut mixed 1950s B-movie homage with 1980s zombie horror. Alien slugs crash land in 1959, hide for decades, then emerge in 1986 to turn college students into zombies. Tom Atkins plays hard-boiled detective who becomes unlikely hero. Thrill me becomes his catchphrase as he faces invasion nobody believes is happening. The film opens in 1950s, black and white before jumping to colorful 80s. Alien parasites enter through mouths and turn victims into hosts, spreading more slugs. It's body horror meets zombie apocalypse with comedic tone and genuine affection for B-movie. Traditions. Decker made love letter to creature features while creating fresh take on invasion formula. Box office was terrible. TriStar dumped it with minimal promotion. The film disappeared quickly from theaters and became cult classic through VHS rentals. Horror fans discovered it and spread word about Tom Atkins' performance and Decker's clever script. Night of the Creeps influenced later horror comedies like Slither, which borrowed heavily from its alien slug premise. The film is most fun alien invasion of the 80s. It doesn't take itself seriously, but commits fully to the concept. The practical effects are creative. The humor works. Atkins delivers every line perfectly. Night of the Creeps deserves recognition as underrated gem that balanced horror, comedy, and heart better than most films attempting that mixture. It's forgotten outside cult circles, but it's genuinely great entertainment that more people should discover. Invaders from Mars, 1986. Tobe Hooper remade the 1953 classic for Canon Films. A boy witnesses alien landing behind his house. His parents get possessed. Then teachers, police, everyone around him. Nobody believes him because the aliens control all the adults. It's paranoid nightmare from child's perspective where authority figures become the threat. The practical effects were ambitious with alien creatures designed by Stan Winston. The possessed people have devices implanted in their necks. The boy must convince someone, anyone, that invasion is real before aliens take over completely. Karen Black and James Karen head the cast in film that's too weird for children and too silly for adults seeking serious sci-fi. But Invaders from Mars deserves reevaluation as underrated Hooper work. The child's perspective on invasion is effectively creepy. The paranoia about adults being replaced is primal fear executed well. The effects hold up better than expected. It's not great film, but it's better than reputation suggests. Hooper's career in the 80s was full of interesting failures. This is one worth reconsidering beyond the dismissal it received on release. Critters, 1986. New Line Cinema made furry alien film the same year Gremlins dominated pop culture. Small Kansas town faces, invasion by Krites. Alien furballs with rows of sharp teeth escaping prison transport. Bounty hunters pursue them to Earth, where Family Farm becomes battleground. The film spawned multiple sequels and became franchised despite modest initial success. The critters are practical puppet effects with personality and viciousness. They roll into balls. They shoot quills. They eat everything, including people. The bounty hunters are shape-shifting aliens who take human forms by watching television. The mix of horror and comedy works because film commits to creature feature traditions while adding 80s sensibility. Critics dismissed it as Gremlins' knockoff despite being developed independently. The comparison hurt box office, but home video made it success. Kids discovered it through rentals, and the franchise grew with increasingly absurd sequels. Critters found audience after theatrical run ended because it delivered exactly what title promised. Alien critters causing chaos in rural America. The Hidden, 1987. An alien parasite body hops through Los Angeles criminals, turning them into violent psychopaths obsessed with Ferraris, heavy metal, and robbery. Kyle MacLachlan plays mysterious FBI agent who knows more than he's telling. Regular cop, played by Michael Nouri, gets pulled into investigation that makes no sense until the truth emerges. They're hunting something not human. The parasite enters through mouths and takes complete control of hosts. Victims suddenly rob banks, steal sports cars, and murder anyone in their way. The alien is using humans to experience pleasure through violence and excess. MacLachlan's character is hunting it with personal investment that becomes clear in the third act twist. The Hidden is smart science fiction thriller that uses body snatcher premise for action movie structure. The practical effects for alien reveals are excellent. MacLachlan's performance hints at something alien about him without revealing it until perfect moment. The film works as action, horror, and sci-fi simultaneously, without compromising any element. Box office was modest. Critics who saw it praised it, but most people missed it completely. The Hidden became cult classic through home video and influenced The X-Files significantly. It's the best alien cop movie ever made, and nobody remembers it exists. Which alien invasion did you completely miss? Which one are you adding to your watch list right now? Which forgotten film deserves more love than it gets? Drop your answer in the comments below. Hit subscribe for more hidden gems and forgotten classics. And smash that like button if you're gonna track down any of these overlooked invasion movies tonight.